What's going on, everyone? It's been a while, but here I am with another thrift store game hunting video. Haven't really had the time to venture out to the shops, especially due to the holiday season being focused on other things, but hey, it's better late than never. First shop had a variety of games, of course, mostly sports, but they did have that Jet Set Radio / Sega GT Combo Pack, Hot Shots Golf 3, and that Fighters Uncaged game. I thought about grabbing the Fighters Uncaged as I don't own it, but the disc wasn't even in the case, so yeah, there goes that. Oh yeah, Mini Desktop Racing. So, eventually I will review this game, or maybe not even that. I might just end up doing a video on the developer, Data Design Interactive, which for those who may not know, are responsible for the infamously horrific Wii games Anubis 2, Ninja Bread Man, which is basically the same exact game as Anubis, Rock and Roll Adventures, those Myth Makers games, and a few others. This mini desktop racing game is horrible. Fucking horrible. The frame rate, the gameplay, the music, graphics, nothing about this game is any good and wouldn't have even passed as something acceptable back in the PS1 N64 days. It's that bad. This same Goodwill had a limited edition Final Fantasy XII guidebook, and it's in amazing shape considering its age. It was only $1, so why the hell not? Nothing really standing out here. Still having a bitch of a time finding Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube, at least for cheap. Some places I've seen wanting that game for like $15. No, thank you, I can wait. I'm not really a puzzle guy, but man, this is awesome. It comes from the Fine Art Collection and it's 1,000 pieces. As much as I love and desperately want this framed on my wall, I can't buy it. Like, what are the chances that every piece is going to be in there, you know? It's too much of a gamble, even if it's only a few dollars. I don't want to spend 6 to 8 hours into it only to find out that I'm missing 5 pieces or whatever. I'll just end up losing my mind. Speaking of Star Wars, here's something I've never seen before. A big box Episode 1 Gungan Frontier PC game. I thought this would be rare and expensive since I've never heard of it, but it turns out it's not really worth anything. But that's not why I passed on it. I just knew I would never play it, and the condition of the disc was pretty terrible. Holy shit. So, I remember having this. These guns go to a laser tag kit, where you had a pair of vests that would detect flash and make noise when the other person has shot you, and then you have these pistols. I loved this toy. It was so much fun to play with groups of people who all had these. Shame the vests were nowhere to be found. Hey, it's a Yamaha Portasound 680. So I've been looking for something like this for quite a while now, because it has the drum pads, pitch bending, MIDI, all sorts of plugins. Basically, this is the keyboard I've always wanted, and the fact that it's an old-ass Yamaha makes it that much more desirable for me. Dirty as hell, but believe me, I'm more than happy to clean this thing up, especially since they only wanted $7 for it. Atlantis Double Pack. You know, I've tried really hard to get into point-and-click games. I can't. As much as I want to like them, I get painfully bored with them after like an hour or two. Kinda like with visual novels, these are not for me. Every time I see a copy of Call of Duty Ghost, I have like Vietnam flashbacks of how bad that game was. It sends chills down my spine at the thought of how much time I wasted playing this piece of shit. Anyway, I did find this Gunstringer game for the 360. I've seen this before, I've come across it probably numerous times, but for whatever reason I've never grabbed it. Probably because it's a Kinect game and I typically avoid those like the plague, but I don't have it and I almost feel obligated to buy something at this point. At first glance, you might think that this is just an entertainment center or some old school living room cabinet type deal. However, it's not. There's a lid you flip open revealing this awesome record player, cassette player, and radio. All things considered, this piece is in excellent shape. The record player even had some of the original protective plastic around it. I don't know if it's worth anything, or even works for that matter, but I love coming across whatever these cabinets are really called. Eventually, I will own something like this one of these days. I think they're just the coolest things ever. Is that the hipster in me talking? Probably, I don't care, I think they're cool. I used to buy and sell these all the time. Sadly, they've gone down in price significantly over the past few years. I used to pop these on eBay for like 25, 35 bucks all day long, but now it seems like I'd be lucky to get 15 bucks out of it. I love these old plug and plays though. I actually still have this in a bin somewhere. I completely forgot I had this footage. It's from like a month after the Crash trilogy came out. I found it at a pawn shop and the dude only wanted 10 bucks for it. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Crash Bandicoot, I couldn't pass up this kind of deal whatsoever. That would have just been flat out stupid. I also came across a Record of Agarist War 2 for 5 bucks. Not a great deal on that game necessarily, but it's the first time I've seen it in years, so who knows when I'll come across it again. Lastly, I went to another pawn shop. It's hard to see what's going on here, but the games were all buy two get one free. A pretty good selection, some of which had very cheap prices on them, while others were higher than they should have been. I took advantage of that deal by getting Need for Speed, Battlefront 2, and Black Ops 4 on the PS4 for only $12. Yeah, you heard me right, $12. Black Ops 4, they were only charging 5 bucks. Again, how can I pass up that kind of a deal? So that about does it for another adventure to the thrift store and pawn shops. Pawn shops definitely were the star of this episode by far. The thrift stores of late have been more of a hit than a miss. I don't know if it's just people not donating video games as much, me being too late whenever the games do show up, or if resellers are just running these places dry. Either way, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and take care.